The apartment on the 8th floor. My roommate Visal found the apartment listing on Facebook. Cheap rent, good location, fully furnished. In Phnom Penh, that combination doesn't exist unless something is very wrong. It's probably a scam, I said, looking at the photos on his phone. The landlord seems real. She's a nurse at Comet Hospital. Look, here's her profile. Lots of photos, friends, normal stuff. The apartment was in a building called Golden Tower near Olympic Stadium. 8th floor, 2 bedrooms, modern fittings. The price was less than half the market rate. There has to be a catch, I insisted. She says the previous tenant left suddenly. She needs someone quick, that's why it's cheap. Why did they leave suddenly? Visal shrugged. Does it matter? Bong Saravath, we're getting kicked out of this place in 2 weeks. We need something. He was right about that. Our current landlord was demolishing the building to put up a mall. We'd been searching for a month with no luck. Everything was either too expensive or too far from our jobs. Fine, I said, but if we get murdered, I'm blaming you. He laughed. Deal. We met the landlord, a woman named Sokha, outside the building the next day. She was maybe 40, tired looking in her nurse's scrubs. She led us up to the 8th floor without much conversation. The apartment was exactly as advertised. Clean, bright, furnished with IKEA-style furniture. 2 decent-sized bedrooms, a bathroom with a working shower, a living area with a TV. The kitchen was small but functional. What's the catch? I asked directly. Sokha hesitated. No catch. Then why so cheap? I told you, the previous tenant left suddenly. I need it rented quickly. Why did they leave? Another hesitation. They said they were going back to the province. Family emergency. The way she said it made me think she was lying, but the apartment was perfect, and we were desperate. Can we think about it? Visal asked. I have 3 other people coming to see it this afternoon, Sokha said. If you want it, decide now. Visal and I looked at each other. He was clearly excited, and honestly, I was too. The place was much nicer than anything else we'd seen. We'll take it, I said. Sokha's expression flickered. Was that relief or worry? But she nodded and pulled out the contract. We moved in the following weekend. Visal took the slightly larger bedroom, I took the other. We set up our stuff, had beer and takeout to celebrate. Everything seemed great. The first night I slept fine. So did Visal, or so he said in the morning. We went to work, me to the accounting firm where I was a junior accountant, him to the advertising agency where he did graphic design. Came home tired, ate dinner, watched TV, slept. The second night, I had a nightmare. I was in the apartment, but it was different. The furniture was arranged wrong, and there was someone else there, a figure standing in the corner of my bedroom watching me sleep. I couldn't see their face, just a dark outline. In the dream, I tried to scream but couldn't make sound. I woke up gasping, heart pounding. My room was empty, normal, just a nightmare. But when I went to the bathroom to splash water on my face, I noticed something. The shower curtain was wet, not just damp, soaking wet, water dripping onto the floor. Neither of us had showered since earlier that evening, and it hadn't been this wet then. I mopped up the water, told myself one of us must have used the shower and forgotten, went back to bed. The third night, Visal mentioned he'd had a weird dream too. I was drowning, he said over breakfast, like underwater, couldn't breathe, super vivid. I had a nightmare the other night too, I admitted. Probably just stress from moving. Probably. but he didn't sound convinced. That night I woke at 3:17 a.m. to the sound of water running. The shower was on, full blast. Steam was seeping under the bathroom door. I got up and knocked. "Visal, you okay?" No answer. I tried the handle, locked from inside. "Visal, this isn't funny." Still no answer. I pressed my ear to the door, just water running, nothing else. I knocked harder. "Visal, open up or I'm breaking the door." The water shut off abruptly. A moment later, the door unlocked and opened. The bathroom was empty, full of steam but empty. No Visal. "What the fuck? What's going on?" Visal appeared behind me, rubbing his eyes. He'd come from his bedroom, wearing the same sleeping clothes he'd gone to bed in. They were completely dry. "Were you just in the shower?" "No, I was sleeping." "Why?" The shower was on, and the door was locked from inside. We both stared into the steamy bathroom. The shower was off now, but the curtain and walls were soaked. "Maybe the lock is broken," Visal suggested, "and the tap is loose." The tap turned on by itself. Old building, things malfunction. But we both knew it wasn't an old building. Golden Tower was maybe 5 years old. We couldn't sleep after that. Sat in the living room with all the lights on until dawn. Nothing else happened. In the morning light, it seemed almost silly. A plumbing issue, that's all. But that day at work, I looked up Golden Tower online. Found some old news articles. Most were boring: building permit approved, construction completed, units selling well. But one article caught my eye. It was from 2 years ago. Tragic suicide at new apartment complex. I read it with growing dread. A university student named Makara had killed himself in his apartment at Golden Tower, 8th floor. He'd been depressed, the article said, failed his exams, felt he'd disappointed his family. One night he filled the bathtub and drowned himself. His roommate found him 3 days later. I checked the date, then I checked our contract, same apartment number. "Fuck," I said out loud. My coworker looked over, but I ignored her. I called Visal. "We need to talk." We met for lunch. I showed him the article on my phone. His face went pale. "She didn't tell us," he said. "The landlord, she fucking didn't tell us." "Of course she didn't. Who would rent a suicide apartment?" "That's illegal. She has to disclose that." "Maybe technically, but who's going to enforce it?" We sat in silence, both thinking. The apartment made sense now. The cheap rent, the desperate landlord, the previous tenant leaving suddenly. "What do we do?" Visal asked. "Break the contract." We gave her a 3-month deposit. We'll lose all of it. Better than staying in a haunted apartment. "You believe in that stuff?" I looked at him. After last night, yes. But we didn't have anywhere else to go, and losing the deposit would wipe out our savings. We were stuck. "Maybe it's just the plumbing," Visal said without conviction. "Maybe the previous tenant was just superstitious." "Maybe." We decided to stay, at least for a few days, while we looked for alternatives. What else could we do? That night I locked my bedroom door. I know it was stupid. If there was a ghost, a lock wouldn't stop it. But it made me feel better. I didn't dream, just fell into heavy, exhausted sleep. I woke to pressure on my chest, something heavy sitting on me, pressing down. I couldn't breathe, couldn't move. My eyes opened, but the room was pitch dark, darker than it should be. And there was someone there, sitting on my chest. I couldn't see them clearly, just an outline, a person-shaped shadow. They leaned closer. I could feel cold breath on my face. Then a voice, young and male, whispering, "Why are you in my apartment?" I tried to scream. Nothing came out. I thrashed but couldn't move. The weight on my chest increased. My lungs were burning. I was suffocating. Then suddenly it was gone. I sucked in air, gasping. The lights flickered on. I'd managed to hit the switch on the wall. The room was empty, normal. My door was still locked from the inside. But on my chest, I could see marks. 4 finger-shaped bruises, like someone had pressed down hard. I grabbed my phone and ran to Visal's room, pounding on the door. "Visal, open up." He opened it, looking scared. I heard, "Are you okay?" I showed him the marks. His eyes went wide. "We're leaving," I said. "Right now. I don't care about the deposit." Okay, yes, let's go." We threw our essential stuff into bags: phones, wallets, laptops, clothes. We'd get the rest later, maybe with other people in daylight. We just needed to get out. As we headed for the door, all the lights in the apartment went out. Complete darkness. "Keep moving," I said, feeling for the wall. "The door's right ahead." We found the door. I turned the handle. It wouldn't open. Not locked, it turned freely. But the door wouldn't budge, like something was holding it shut from the outside. Fuck, Visal was chanting. I pulled harder. Nothing. Visal joined me, both of us pulling. The door didn't move a centimeter. Then the bathroom door slammed open. Water came flooding out, impossibly fast, like a dam had broken. Cold water rising quickly around our ankles. "The window," Visal shouted. We ran to the living room window. 8th floor. No balcony, just a long drop to the street below. The water was rising fast, up to our knees now. The room was still pitch black except for the faint light from outside. "Why are you in my apartment?" The voice again, echoing from everywhere. Male, young, hurt. "This is my apartment, mine." "We're sorry," I shouted. "We didn't know we'll leave." "You can't leave. Nobody leaves." The water was at our waists. I could see Visal's terrified face in the dim light from outside. "Please," I begged. "Makara, right? Your name was Makara." The water stopped rising. Stillness. "How do you know my name?" "I read about you, about what happened. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for what you went through." "Sorry doesn't help." "I know, but we're not trying to take your apartment. We didn't know it was yours. The landlord didn't tell us." Silence. Then, "She never tells anyone. They come and they leave, come and leave. But this is mine. I paid for it. This is where I live." "You don't live here anymore," Visal said, his voice shaking. "You died 2 years ago." "I know I died." The shout was anguished. "I remember dying. I remember the water filling my lungs. I remember how much it hurt, how scared I was. And then I was still here, still in this apartment. Why am I still here?" "Because you haven't moved on," I said. "You're attached to this place." "This is my home." "It was your home, but you let go of it when you let go of your life." "I didn't mean to," the voice cracked. "I didn't mean to die. I just wanted the pain to stop. I wanted to stop being a failure, stop disappointing everyone. I thought if I was dead, at least I couldn't make things worse. But it didn't stop. The pain didn't stop. I'm still here and I'm still a failure and I still can't do anything right." The water was still at waist level, freezing cold, but I found myself feeling something other than fear. Pity, sadness. "Listen to me," I said. "You weren't a failure." "I failed my exams. I disappointed my family." "So what? So do lots of people. That doesn't make you a failure." Essay. Continue. "As a person, it just means you had a hard time with exams, that's all." You don't understand. They paid so much for my education. They sacrificed everything, and I couldn't even pass. And they would have forgiven you, Visal said. Parents always forgive. They loved you. They were so disappointed. Disappointed isn't the same as not loving you. They would have wanted you to live, to try again. The water began to recede, slowly at first, then faster, draining away through the floorboards into nowhere. I can't try again, Makara's voice said, quieter now. I'm dead. Yes, I said gently. You are, and I'm sorry, but keeping yourself here, scaring people, hurting people, that's not going to change anything. I just want my apartment back. I just want things to be how they were before. They can't be, that's the nature of life. Things change, people change, time moves forward. I don't want to move forward, I want to go back. Nobody can go back, Visal said. Trust me, if we could, we all would. Everyone has things they regret, but we can't. We can only go forward. The lights flickered on, dim at first, then brighter. The apartment looked normal now, except everything was soaked. Water stains on the walls, puddles on the floor. And in the corner of the living room I could see him. Not clearly, more like a sketch, an outline. A young man, thin, wearing a university t-shirt and shorts. He looked so ordinary, so normal. Just a kid, really. I'm scared to move forward, he said, and he sounded like a child. I don't know what comes next. None of us do, I said, but it has to be better than this. Better than being stuck alone, hurting. My parents, did they move on? I didn't know, I had no idea, but I found myself saying, I'm sure they did. Eventually, people heal. Slowly, painfully, but they heal, and they would want you to heal too. I don't know how. Let go of this apartment. Let go of the pain, just let go. He looked around the room, at the furniture, the walls, the space he died in and couldn't leave. This is all I have. No, you have whatever comes next. You just have to be brave enough to take the step. He looked at us with eyes that were becoming harder to see, like he was fatting. Will it hurt? I don't think so. I think it'll be like falling asleep. I'm so tired. Then sleep, rest. You've been holding on so long, you can rest now. He nodded slowly. Okay, I'll try. He looked at us one more time. Thank you for listening, for not just running away screaming. We tried that, Visal said with a weak smile. You locked the door. Makara almost laughed, almost. Sorry, I just wanted someone to stay, even for a little while. We stayed, I said, and we listened. Now you can go. He closed his eyes, and as we watched, he faded, becoming translucent, then nothing. Just empty air where he'd been standing. The apartment felt different immediately, warmer, lighter, the oppressive weight that we hadn't even fully noticed until it was gone. The front door swung open on its own. We stood there for a moment, exhausted, traumatized, but alive. Let's get the fuck out of here, Visal said. Agreed. We grabbed our bags and left. Didn't even look back. Took the stairs down all 8 flights because we didn't trust the elevator. Stumbled out onto the street as dawn was breaking. We went to a 24-hour coffee shop and sat there shaking, drinking sweet iced coffee until we felt human again. Neither of us spoke for a long time. Finally, Visal said, We're not going back there. No. The deposit. Fuck the deposit, we'll figure it out. Where will we stay? I'll call my cousin. He has a place. We can crash there while we find something else. Visal nodded. Then, do you think he's really gone, Makara? I don't know, I hope so. We stayed with my cousin for 3 weeks, sleeping on his floor until we found a new place. Much smaller, much more expensive, but definitively non-haunted. We never went back to Golden Tower, even to get our stuff. Told my cousin to go with some friends during daylight. They said the apartment was fine, normal, no ghosts. Packed up our belongings without incident. I tried calling Sokha, the landlord, to tell her what happened and demand our deposit back. She never answered. Her Facebook profile disappeared. The apartment listing came down. A few months later, Visal ran into someone who'd lived in Golden Tower. He asked about the 8th floor. "Oh, that apartment," the guy said. "Nobody rents it anymore. The landlord tried a few times, but people kept leaving. Something about the plumbing being fucked up, constant water problems. She gave up eventually. It's been empty for almost a year now." So maybe Makara really did move on. Or maybe he's still there, just quieter now. Less angry, I don't know. But sometimes I think about him. A 20-year-old kid who made a terrible decision in a moment of despair and paid for it with 2 years of being stuck in the worst moment of his life, unable to move forward or back. I think about how many people are out there right now feeling the same way he felt before he died, like they're failures, like they've disappointed everyone, like death would be easier than facing another day. And I wish I could tell them what I learned that night, that the pain doesn't end with death, that you just trade one kind of suffering for another, that the only way out is through, living through it, surviving it, healing from it. I wish I could tell them that no exam, no grade, no disappointment is worth dying over. But I can't reach them. Nobody can until it's almost too late. All I can do is tell this story and hope that somewhere, someone hears it and chooses to stay, chooses to face tomorrow, even when it's hard. Because the alternative, being stuck in your worst moment forever, is so much worse than anything life can throw at you. Visal and I are still roommates. We live in a ground floor apartment now, with big windows and lots of light. Neither of us take long showers anymore. We can't help it. The sound of running water makes us both tense up. But we're alive, we're okay, and somewhere I hope Makara is too.